welcome to Candlelit Yin, and I hope that this session allows you to just completely relax and to renew your energy so that for the week ahead, you go forth into a new week feeling renewed and energized. So let's begin in our seated position. Now you can sit as I am in hero's pose, or of course you can always sit in a cross-legged position as well. And if ever you find that in this position that there's a little bit of pressure here on the top of your feet and it feels uncomfortable, just know that you can gently press your toes down and lift that. And then if that still doesn't feel good in your body, you can always take a blanket and just slip it underneath this way. So you have that little bit of elevation. And then when you press down the toes and the top of the feet come off, you're going to feel much more comfortable. So know that this is an option for you. And of course, you can fold the blanket to whatever height you'd like. So let's begin first by just allowing the shoulders to relax. And gently close your eyes. Notice how you're feeling. Notice the breath, the rise and the fall of your breath in your body. Feel yourself begin to soften. Imagine your breath like water. And think of any edges that you notice, any tension in your body, anything that feels tight. Your breath is going to smooth those edges. It's going to soften the body. And as it softens the body, the mind is going to become more and more relaxed and calm. So just feel with each breath here, again, that the breath is starting to move into those areas where there's any tightness, any tension, and it's going to smooth out those edges with each breath. And just continue this way for 8 more breaths, allowing the breath to draw in and the breath to draw out. Continue this way for 6 more breaths. A softness exists within you. It is grace. It is eternal grace. And I think it's important to always try and breathe from this place. And this is April Breathe. So just continue until you come, until your last breath here. And then once you do, bring your hands together at your heart center. Take another deep inhale through your nose. And a long exhale out your mouth. You know, if you're in a different seated position, just come to your hero's pose. And if you have a prop, you're going to place the prop in front of you and just run it lengthwise this way. And if you don't, that's fine too. So you certainly don't need to have the props. But if you do, just guide it closer to you and you're going to allow your torso to just drape over. Now you can bring either your right or your left chin. And if that doesn't feel comfortable, if you have any tension in your neck here, just simply move the bolster a little further away from you and let your forehead rest instead. Now, of course, if you don't have a prop, then instead just come into your child's pose. And the same thing, you could either just let your forehead come down Or you can bring your right or your left cheek, depending on what feels most comfortable for you. And we're going to breathe here. So I want you to see, as I mentioned, of just softening, allowing your shoulders to relax, the muscles of the face to be soft, and any tension that you notice. So if there's anything in your low back, try to think of breathing into those areas. And then you can just close your eyes. And we're going to be here for 8 breaths. And feel yourself melting either towards the floor or onto the bolster. And 2 more breaths here. And then when you come to your next breath, just slowly begin to bring yourself up. And now we're going to take the bolster and bring it behind us. So again, if you have a prop, then you are welcome, of course, to use the prop, and I'll show you. But if you don't have a prop, that's fine as well. So you can be thinking here, you're either going to bring the knees together and start to come now down onto your back, and just let your shoulders relax. If you would like and you have blocks, you can place the blocks on either side of you, and you can allow here your forearms to just rest on the blocks this way. If you prefer to draw them a little further forward and let your wrists, then you can be here instead. Now, if this doesn't feel right in your body, then you have another option. So you can be thinking of either without the block or the bolster coming all the way down and just bringing your arms up overhead. Or again, if this doesn't feel right for you with your knees, then you can just cross your ankles and come down onto your back this way. And then from here, bring your knees in towards your chest and instead come into a Baddha Konasana. So if you're coming into reclined Baddha Konasana, we are going to come into this particular position after. And if you have blocks, then you again prefer to be here, and you can be here, or you can bring your arms up overhead. So it's a different asana, but of course, if it's not going to feel comfortable for you with your knees, then you can be in that position, and you're just going to stay a little longer there. So again, otherwise, here, just again letting your shoulders melt over the bolster, letting your body completely relax. And if your mind wanders, simply listen for the sound of your breath. be here in this position for another 4 breaths. Now, if you are in Baddha Konasana, reclined Baddha Konasana, simply stay as you are. And if you instead are in Supta, so reclined hero's pose, on your next breath, slowly begin to make your way up. And then once you come up, you can just move your prop off to the side, bring yourself forward, cross your ankles, and then come down onto your back. Now the same thing, you can either come into your reclined Baddha Konasana this way, or if you have the props, you can just slip them underneath the knees and breathe here. And 4 more breaths here. And then from here, bring your knees in towards each other. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Now gently come over onto your right or your left side. And then once you come onto your side, again, if you have a bolster, you're going to slip the bolster underneath your knees. And then just allow your feet to be relaxed here. And you're going to fold over. So just completely drape over your legs. Now, if you don't have a bolster, again, that's not a problem. If you have a blanket, you can do the same. You can just roll the blanket and have that additional height, and then slip it underneath the knees and just fold in. So don't be thinking so much of this as a stretch to get to the feet as a Paschimottanasana, but more a way to just relax the upper body and breathe here. And if you don't have a blanket available, then just think about having a bend in the knees and draping over. And if you feel that you would like to bring your heels a little further away, that's fine too. And then just soften into it. Just let your whole upper body relax. And 4 more breaths here. Just letting still the shoulders fall down away from the ears. Let the arms feel heavy and weighted. And slowly bring yourself back up on the inhale. And now from here, again, if you have blocks, then you're going to use the blocks. And if not, then also you can take the blanket and you can slip it underneath. So you're just going to come down onto your back, bring your feet hip width distance, and then with the blocks, you can either take one, place it just underneath your sacrum and breathe here. You can change the height of the block if you'd like and breathe here. Or again, if you have the blanket, you can just take a blanket and the same, just draw it underneath the sacrum, let your sacrum rest on it, bring your palms to face up or down, whichever feels more comfortable for you, and then breathe in here. If you have your block at a higher height, I'm going to encourage you to bring it to the lower height. If you have a blanket underneath your sacrum, keep it as it is. Just walk your feet a little closer to you. And now we're going to do legs up the wall. So I want you to imagine that you actually have a wall that you're just resting your heels against. Do flex your feet. You don't have to have them too flexed and feel the muscles, but just rather than letting the feet be loose here, try to have at least the heels drawn upwards. And then breathe in here. Again, 4 more breaths. And when you come to the 4th one, just slowly bring the feet back down. Lift the hips, move your blanket off to the side. Bring again your knees in towards your chest. And we're going to come over onto the right side and just gently press yourself up, but so that you can draw your right arm back behind you. Now again, if you have a blanket, you can just slip that underneath your head. And then from here, take your left arm up, bring your hand behind you, and then just slip your arm underneath you. And breathe in here. Keep drawing the left shoulder slightly back. And you get a nice stretch into the right shoulder. And remain here for 6 more breaths. And keep gently drawing the left shoulder back. And once you come to your sixth breath, just simply bring your hand down in front of you. Guide your arm out from underneath you. Come onto your back, and before you come into the other side, just taking your hands to your knees, making little circles. And then going in the other direction. And then coming into happy baby. So taking your hands to the edge of your feet, and then just guiding your knees down towards the ground, bringing the knees slightly out to the side. And you can allow this to be very passive. So if it feels nice for you to gently rock from side to side on your back, then do so. And if you prefer just to find stillness, then absolutely that's fine too. Just see what feels good right now. And 4 more breaths here before coming into the other side for the shoulder. Beautiful. And now just release. And bring your knees in towards you. And then come over onto your other side. So again, just press your hand. Guide your arm out. Let your head come down. And then from this place, bring again your arm up. And then sliding the hand underneath and drawing the right shoulder back. And 2 more breaths here. Just continue to draw the right shoulder further back. Breathing now into the stretch for the left. Good. Now slowly bring your hand in front of you. Guide your arm out from underneath you and bring yourself back up. Now take your heels a little further away, and you can either have, again, if you have a bolster, you can just have it in front of you this way, or you can bring your feet a little further and let your forehead rest on the bolster and interlace your fingers this way. So just see which feels better for you. And again, if you don't have a bolster, it's not a concern at all. You can just think about allowing your body to drape again, just like you did in your forward fold. So rather than trying to draw forward and breathe into this stretch. Think more as a release into the upper back, and then just letting the head hang heavy and breathing here. And again, if you have a bolster, then you can just place it this way, or you can bring it to your forehead and have a little more elevation. And again, keep the image of the breath moving into any area of tightness or tension and just softening the edges. Each breath softening a little more and a little more. And we'll be here for 4 more breaths. And then slowly begin to make your way up. And then again, if you have the blocks, then you can take your blocks right now and place one on its highest height, the other on its lowest height. And then with your bolster, and if you have different shapes for the bolsters, then I encourage you to take the square one or the rectangular one. And then just run it here. Now you're going to bring yourself to the edge. Let your legs come out. And bring your arms out. And breathing here. Now if you have a blanket, of course, again as well, then you can take your blanket and allow it to drape over you and be here. Now, if you don't have the prompts, again, that's no concern at all. Instead, you're going to simply allow yourself to come onto your back. Drawing your legs out and coming into Shavasana. Now you are welcome to remain in your Shavasana for as long as you like. A softness exists within you. It is grace. It is eternal grace. And I think it's important to always try and breathe from this place. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. Rest well. sleep well, and I wish you a wonderful week ahead. The light within you honors the light within you. Namaste.